All right. Hello, Happy New Year. Or almost Happy New Year, I guess. It's
Happy almost New Year.
we're almost there. I don't know about you guys, but I think 2020 was actually a pretty good year for us. I know not for everybody, but we definitely saw some very good stuff come out of it. But anyway, hoping for a better 2021, which for us will be absolutely spectacular, and I don't really see any reason why not. So anyway, I didn't have an agenda for the call. I just wanted to get one more in before the end of the year. So this is open for anybody for anything.
All right, I'll ask a question.
All right, let's have
It's well, it's for the BeeKonnected Association,
it. Okay. Yeah.
and I'm just, I don't know if I'm having trouble pinpointing how to address them. I've moved to a new area. I don't know anybody around here, so I'm just kind of, am I thinking too big? I'm thinking about national associations, and then I'm just kind of stymied.
Yeah, no, I know we've spent quite a bit of time formulating like plans and campaigns and ways to approach them. And really you're elephant hunting, which is the way to do it. you know? And as far as like associations, it doesn't have to be local associations. In fact, local associations are usually pretty small, and they really, for lack of a better word, they don't have their shit together. The national ones are much bigger opportunity. Um, there's a lot of big groups. There's a lot of business groups, women's business groups, veterans business groups. There's some massive organizations, and as far as approaching them, you're approaching them with the same aspect as any business. You find a problem and you present a solution. So a lot of people in business, especially people that belong to business groups, a lot of them experienced big problems this year, especially brick and mortar. I mean, look at all the businesses that have been shut down. They all have a big problem. And BeeKonnected can potentially solve three different solutions for the same problem. And the problem is restrictions, whether it be restrictions of us meeting in person or restrictions of even having our business open. It's basically restrictions in real life. So the solution to that is to move into the online world. And a lot of these business owners haven't done that yet. And that's one of the reasons that this has been one of the best years I can remember for our business, because of that huge shove to the online world. I mean, we've literally had all year long, we've literally had customers coming out of our ears. It's been a crazy year. So when you think about with BeeKonnected, the three things that it offers is it offers connections in the online space, which replaces connections in the real world space that they lost potentially. Think about that. I mean, that opportunity for a business owner that thrived on person to person contact, and that's taken away all of a sudden, giving them a new avenue. That's a pretty good solution. The other thing is, if you held, like, I know a lot of people held face-to-face events, whether it was one-on-one or one-to-many. Like, look at the healthcare industry, telehealth. That wasn't even a word, a year or two ago. It wasn't even a concept. It's like, you're going to go to the doctor, you're going to see the doctor. Well, now it's like, nobody wants to go to a facility with a bunch of people and be afraid you're going to catch something, right? It's a new world we live in. And it's created a lot of fear. It's created a lot of problem. And it's also created a lot of opportunity. Look at what it's done to Zoom. I don't know if any of you guys hold Zoom stock, but it went through the roof this year. You know, there's a lot of different things. If you look at the stock market, you know, a lot of stuff took a beating. A lot of traditional stuff took a whooping this year. But there was a few that just was, zoomed, for lack of a better word. So that's number one, the connections. Number two is Zoom itself, the ability for you to do business online. So I was talking about those people that used to do business one-to-one, the doctors, the yoga, for instance, karate. We helped several karate studios move online and do their lessons with Zoom. What's that guy's name in weight loss? Richard Simmons. I think that was him, the crazy dude that wore the outrageous outfits.
Big hair.
Yeah. He's been doing this for decades. He created videotapes that you could put in your VCR, for those of you that remember what that is. And he would be in your living room guiding you through exercise. The opportunity he saw was the problem of people in that situation were embarrassed. They didn't want to go out. They didn't feel good about themselves. So he created a solution of, hey, bring me into your living room. I'll help you. That's where we're at right now. People got problems and we have solutions. That's what we're all about as business owners. We're about identifying those holes, getting our shovels out and filling them up. So that's number two. And, with BeeKonnected, I actually came up with this messaging of its connections, tools, and training to run a successful business. So that's the connections, there's the tools, and then the training. That's the next thing. A lot of us used to go to seminars. A lot of us would get educated, and we would go, and spend 2 days in a room with a guru learning how to do something we didn't know how to do. And that's been gone since March. So that's training. So you've got connections, tools, and training. So the combination, that package all together, is really what BeeKonnected is all about. So it's massive value. Somebody can buy into the BeeKonnected platform for $2.99. They can get access to everything, unlimited connections, the tools that are there, which there's a lot more being added next year, and also the training. There's a lot of trainers in there that have put real high value courses. So it's like, eventually they'll have all the major trainers in there. You'll have access to everything for $300. Most of those conferences I went to were a lot more than $300, and you didn't get to take them home. You got the opportunity to buy more, but once you left, that was it. You were done. You had to go pay for another one. Here, it's like a buffet. It's all you want anytime you want it. You don't have to wait. You don't have to pay more. It's like, it's an incredible deal is what it is that they've put together. Now, I know a lot of people have said they've had trouble getting people interested in it. How can somebody in business not be interested in connections, tools, and training, especially this year, especially in what we've gone through? So
one argument that I've gotten is, well, I'm in LinkedIn. I don't need another connector. I'm on LinkedIn.
Yeah, I'm on LinkedIn too, and I ignore it now because it's just a big spam trap. If connections is really the key, that's one thing too. And this goes back to the whole ACT program, is figuring out who you're talking to and what's important to them. most people aren't interested in the connections, but they are interested in saving money. So the tools, most of the people I got in my downline, if you want to call it that, or people that have bought through my link, my affiliate link, most of them bought because of Zoom. And I knew that. I knew they were using Zoom, and I knew how much they were paying. So I simply presented it like this, like, hey, you want to save some money on a tool you're already using and get an enterprise version of it? And the answer to that's yes. Then, I kept saying, well, it gets even better. It'll give you all this other stuff too. And then they were interested in the connections. So you have to talk to somebody about what they're interested in.
John, you make a good point there, because when I'm sorry, I'm trying to get my camera. I had to put on my makeup.
Oh, there you go.
And I'm not sure I have it on correctly because my wife has left this morning to go camping.
Oh, you're looking good.
And it's me and the dog and all that. But when it comes to BeeKonnected, I turned several people on to BeeKonnected because I was excited and why I did it. So I started there first with what you're just saying. The only reason I joined BeeKonnected at first, because I knew, based on what you and Craig and everyone was talking about, that I had to move online. And since Zoom was the tool to be able to stay connected and do coaching and speaking and all that, I knew it was a good deal just because of that.
Yeah, that's exactly why I did it too.
Yeah, so when you have a conversation with people and you're talking about BeeKonnected, you do have to, just like any potential client, you have to understand what they're up against first, and then say, well, have you checked out this platform, or have you heard of BeeKonnected? Because it sounds like that might be something you should be checking out, and here's why. You said X. Well, they have a platform, Zoom, and it's cheaper than what you're paying for the platform you're on. And I had this conversation with a client yesterday because I'm prepping her to get into the mindset come the new year that she has to automate, she has to have an online presence, and she can't do it all by herself. And we've done that for a long period of time, trying to work, like Craig said, with 15 different areas, and they're all costing us, and there's no way. So automate and systematize, which you don't hear the word systematize, means get on a platform. And so I was talking to her yesterday about Kartra, just feeding her little things about Kartra, and I kept saying it doesn't have to be Kartra. I've heard people using Kajabi and other things, but you have to get in the mindset to be open to look at a platform.
Sure.
But you do have to understand what are people up against so that you can maybe offer something as a solution to them.
Yeah, absolutely. And one of the other big objections that I got, especially after people got in, was they didn't want to refer out to two people to get it for free,
Right.
not pay the monthly subscription fee, which it's $49 a month. If you look at what LinkedIn is, I think LinkedIn is $79 a month, and it doesn't have near all it is. It's just Sales Navigator. It gives you the ability to spam, basically.
Yeah.
And because of that, you've got you got more than 1 million. You got probably 10 million people using it, spamming you.
And I've gotten one client off of LinkedIn who's been a long-term client in 3 years.
Yeah.
But I get 100 people acting like they know me and wanting to sell to me right away. And it's so irritating. They don't even know who I am. They've looked at my profile. Oh, we look like, we have something in common. We have nothing in common because I'm not even looking for your service.
Yeah. I get, I've got over 10,000 connections in LinkedIn. And with 10,000 connections, you would think I'd be doing some serious business off of there. And I can't think of any business I've got off of LinkedIn yet.
I've got 3,000 connections, over 3,000 connections in 4 years. And I've got one client.
Yeah. The only thing that I've got out of LinkedIn is some people will go and they'll look me up just to see, like, it's almost like a resume.
Right.
something like that.
Yeah.
And you know, so back to Gay's original question, and she's a very special lady because she brought me to BeeKonnected. That's how I even heard about it.
Unfortunately, you signed up under my ex-boyfriend, not mine.
Well, you should have plugged me into the right place.
I would have liked to, dear.
You might have been in love at the time.
Yeah,
It was March when I introduced you to
Yeah.
BeeKonnected.
yeah.
And then the reason we kind of got sidelined is because his father became terminally ill. And so we had to step back.
Yeah. But, you know, one of the other big objections, like I was saying, was the whole thing of there's a lot of people that don't like to refer stuff for some reason. It's the craziest thing, but it's a mindset deal. And I don't know if they feel like it's icky or they feel like it's MLM or something. And it's not. This is an affiliate program. It's like my business generates a tremendous amount of money through affiliate referrals. I've talked about this like almost every call, is making money with referrals. You know, the whole thing about the timeline in ACT, when you deliver what you deliver and you get paid and your timeline is over, either you create another product to serve that person next, or you find somebody else that did and refer them out and make the commission. And that's like free money. So affiliate sales is like money that just, you know, they call it mailbox money. It just shows up. And it's a pretty cool deal. But but anyway, I took that, like these people that had that, and then they didn't want another recurring fee. They're like, no, I'm not going to stick with it. They got it originally to get the Zoom, but they said they're not going to stick with it because they love the idea, they love the connections, they love all the stuff, but they didn't want to pay the $49 fee, and they didn't want to refer it. So I went back to the company and renegotiated that. And now they offer for $4.99 for an additional $200. You can buy a lifetime version. So, you know, that's like at $50, that's a 4-month thing. And then now you're free for life and you don't have to tell anybody if you don't want to. Keep it up, you know, be greedy, keep it all to yourself.
I think one of the things, John, that I have noticed about BeeKonnected, even myself, but one of the complaints about it from people inside BeeKonnected is that they haven't trained themselves to get there yet. In other words, they don't visit BeeKonnected as part of their daily schedule or weekly schedule. So I made a couple connections, and people asked me for connecting, but we couldn't connect
And they're not checking it.
because they're not out there.
Yeah.
So then they're like, okay, let's take you away from there, and here's my calendar. Well, I have my own calendar.
Yeah.
So I don't want to jump on somebody else's calendar when we're in BeeKonnected, and I have my own calendar.
Sure.
You know? So you play this hopscotch, and I don't know that that's worth it.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, that's the next thing that I've recommended to them is a concept of being buzzed. Because, you know, they're all about bees, and what do bees do? Bees buzz, right? So I said, you guys need some kind of instant notification that when somebody wants to connect, you get buzzed. And you could have a whole marketing campaign around being buzzed. You could sell t-shirts. First time I got buzzed was, you know, January. I got buzzed in 2020.
Get buzzed tonight.
Yeah. I get buzzed on a regular basis.
Somebody said,
Cool stuff.
don't drive buzzed.
Yeah, you could even have a little counter on their profile of how many times they got buzzed. It could be like a badge. You know, people love that kind of shit. They love that, especially in interactive platforms like this. So that's what I've been telling them. I'm like, look, you've created an interactive platform. Let's make it interactive.
Well, if you think about it, years ago, for us young people, we used to say, well, give me a buzz, remember?
Exactly. Yeah,
Buzz me later.
exactly. So it's, it's a great concept of having the instant notification, give that little buzz, or, like AOL, when you opened your mail, it would, or when you opened AOL, it would say,
You
you've
got
got mail, right? Well, this could buzz. You've been buzzed. Same thing. So, Teresa, you had something there you wanted to say.
I do have a question. It has to do with changing the names on links. Because with BeeKonnected, I got Teresa Cherry, BeeKonnected.com, right?
Uh-huh.
And I would like to give an anonymous kind of link to some people.
Sure.
Some people, particularly my competition, get their nose out of whack if they think I'm being compensated for anything.
Absolutely.
So how do you do that?
Here's what a lot of people do.
Hey, John, what was the question? Because it was hard to hear her.
Okay, her question is, she's got her regular affiliate link for BeeKonnected.
Mhm.
She wants to have a masked link that somebody can't like sidestep her and cut her out, which that's a big thing. This is a big thing in the whole affiliate world, because everybody wants a better deal. They're like, oh, well, maybe I'll get a better deal if I just cut her affiliate link out. So what a lot of people do, this is probably the simplest way to do this, is to go and buy a URL, buy a domain. Like a lot of people will buy, some kind of a vanity domain. And then what they'll do is they don't set it up as a hosted account. They just set it up as a redirect. So when somebody goes to that URL, it just redirects them through their affiliate link. like you could buy teresasopportunity.com. And then when somebody types that in, they would go right through your BeeKonnected affiliate link, just with a simple redirect. And you set that up like where you buy the domain. Let's say you go to GoDaddy and you buy a domain. You can go in there and you can redirect that domain without having a hosting account. You don't have to pay anything additional for it. That's one way to do it. If you've got like for me, I have 50 different affiliate programs that I promote. So I don't want 50 different domains to have to pay for every year. So what I do is I create a redirection on my own domain. You guys have probably seen this, like Kartra. When I send my Kartra link out, it's internetdominators.com/Kartra. For BeeKonnected, it's internetdominators.com/BEE for B. And they don't know what the link is. They just know the link I gave them. And then when they follow that, it forwards them right through. So I do it that way myself. If you just had one and you wanted a simple way, you could buy the domain, just have it forwarded.
Yeah, well, I've got about half a dozen domains. So
Yeah.
how do you initiate the redirect through the domain?
Through the domain service, like a lot of people use GoDaddy.
Yep, I do.
Yeah, what you do is you go in and you go to edit that domain, and there will be a section in there like where you can set your name servers up. There'll be a section in there where you can, set up hosting. There's also one called domain forwarding. So you click on the domain forwarding, and all you do, you just put the URL in you want that domain to forward to, and hit go or yes or whatever it is. And that's it.
I have a question about that. Because
Okay.
once you redirect it, the URL address, once you get to BeeKonnected, doesn't it still say like gayhicks.beekonnected.com?
Correct, but you've already gone through their cookie system. So even once you go through that link, you're pretty much cookied to your link. So even if they stripped that out after that point and went right direct to BeeKonnected.com, you would still get the credit for it.
Okay.
You got them then.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. You got to get them through your link. That's the key. That's the whole key.
Okay.
Yeah, because it will.
whenever I talk about Kartra, the first thing that happens, you want to kind of hide. You want to kind of hide what you're talking about, because the first thing that happens whenever I mention Kartra, they're like, "Oh, how do you spell that?" And I'm like, "Let me send you the link because it's kind of funky." Because if you tell them, then they go there. You've been cut out. You're the
Yeah.
one that introduced them, and then you got cut out. So I always do that. Like I'll talk about something without telling them the name, and then give them the link. They go through, and then you can open it up. But a lot of people, it's almost this like mentality of getting a better deal.
Yeah, which you're giving them a better price than oftentimes than they go to the direct link.
Yeah,
You
but that's not the problem. The problem is in their head. They're hunting for a better deal. They're like, what if I go direct? I can get a better deal.
And the problem, and I find myself doing this too. It's like, well, I don't want them to get a $2 commission on my sale, or something like that. It's like, oh, well, I'll go to direct. With that being said, here's a little off topic, but if you use someone's link and you get those cookies on your system, and then you want to be an affiliate to sell, when you use the link to do that, is their affiliate link still connected to your system, and are you actually sending to their affiliate link?
Not
am I making sense?
You are, but it doesn't really work that way.
Okay.
It's the cookie is attached to your browser. So when you visit from your browser, they'll recognize who you are. So when you sign up, now you're in the system. Now you've got your own URL for them, your affiliate link. So what happens when you send that out, they're not going from your computer. So they're going to create their own cookie on their site.
Okay.
And what happens, since they're a 2-tier affiliate system, you can get paid on 2 levels. So you can get paid double, like if somebody signs up under me and then somebody signs up under them, I get paid on that double level as well.
Okay.
And so it's a 2-tier system. It's kind of like I use a 2-tier system in my affiliate program. Like when I pay my affiliates, I have a 2-tier, but I only use it when I have a broker involved. And the way I set mine up was I set it up as, hey, if you're a broker, if you're willing to go out and get affiliate partners for me, I'll let you override the commission on them. So whatever they sell, you'll get a cut of it. And I'm very generous on mine. Like when I've paid out probably, I wouldn't be shocked to know that I paid out $250,000 in commissions this year. That's pretty awesome, because the more I pay out, the more comes into my pocket. So I'm very happy doing it. But the key is there's one guy that got an override on about half of that, because he got aggressive and he was setting up these affiliates to promote me. Like he was finding people with lists that would put me on a webinar, and he made a boatload of money this year doing it. I mean, I wrote him or it wasn't a check, it was a wire. I wired money every month. I've wired money into his account, and one month his wire was like $38,000.
My goodness.
Yeah. And it was pretty normal occurrence to be in the 20 grand range. So he did really well on a few months. It took him a while to get cooking, but once he did, he is on fire. And he's hunting out affiliates for me, because I know you guys have heard this over and over and over. I am incredibly lazy. I will spend a very, very heavy focused effort to find a guy like that so I don't have to do all that shit. You know, I'll be very selective where I spend my time in my business. So, you know, hunting up an opportunity like that, and here's how I do the commission levels. The affiliate, the guy that puts me on a webinar to his list, I'll give him 50% on the front end. So whatever we sell on the front end of the campaign, he gets half of it. My broker gets 25%. So I'm literally giving away 75% on the front end. And I don't really care, because that's 25% I didn't have. And I didn't have to do much for it other than show up for an hour. And it's all recurring revenue. The recurring revenue on the back end, the affiliate gets 25% of that, and the broker still gets his 25% cut. So I'm giving away 75% on the front, I'm giving away 50% on the back, and I am happy as could be to do that. Because it's software, there's, after the development cost, the only cost to me really is to run the network, which, you know, it's a big network, so it is costly, you know, if you were looking at it from a how many dollars out, but when you look at it from how many dollars back in, it's a total bargain. But you know, that's how I run mine. I incentivize the hell out of people to promote me, and I incentivize them with cash, and I do it so I don't have to work hard. I got a bunch of people. I've got people that are, you know, either referring my services out. I have a whole reseller network of people that are running their own businesses, and my team is supplying them the services on the back end. I love that because I don't have to deal with the front end clients. I don't have to deal with the sales. I just do what I do really good, which is run my team and provide great services without a lot of my own effort, by the way.
Hey, John, do we, to get the affiliate link for you, do we just go to the website? I'm looking at your website.
Uh-huh.
I had two questions. Do we just act like we're outsiders and go there?
Yeah, you can just go down to the bottom of my website, and there's a link there, become an affiliate.
All right. So the second thing is, if you're an affiliate, and let's say that I've got a podcast coming up, and I want to have you come on, you would do that is that something?
Absolutely.
You do? Okay.
Absolutely. So we could set your affiliate link up. We could make a special offer, and you know, you'd get paid on anything that comes through that, now or in the future.
Okay. And then we could just promote your business like we would BeeKonnected,
Uh-huh.
and we would get the same thing, whatever that is. Okay.
Yeah. And once you refer somebody to me, my systems, my automated systems in Kartra are going to work for you forever to try and convert that person into more and more sales where you get paid.
Oh,
You know,
interesting.
like a lot of times people will come in for our SEO software. So the affiliate's making money, the broker's making money, and then throughout the year, I'll run specials out to my database. Well, guess what? If any of their people buy any of those specials, they get paid as well.
Okay.
So the system, you know, just automatically, it continuously incentivizes them to refer.
Let me ask you a final question about affiliates for the website. You have your homepage. You might have a number of affiliates. You have your affiliate link down in there where someone can get that. But on the page itself, are you actually showing your affiliates, people who you're affiliated with? Is that part of your strategy on your homepage? Because
I usually, no, I wouldn't say who the affiliates are. That could be a strategy, because a lot of people operate on the fear of missing out, the FOMO factor. And if they see a bunch of big people promoting you, they want to get in on it.
But is that a bad strategy, or is it?
No,
Okay.
it's not a bad strategy at all. It's just it's not what I'm doing.
Okay. All right.
Not because it's bad, just probably because I'm lazy. Again, back to that.
I was just curious when you're designing and you probably can tell why I'm asking this. When you're designing a home page, the look of the front page, is that something that you need to have, or is that something where, hey, just direct them to the affiliate page or the affiliate link, or to show your affiliates if they want to be involved?
Sure. Most affiliates, any serious affiliate, what they do, they're just automatically trained to scroll to the bottom of every page and see if there's a become an affiliate link.
Got it. Okay.
That's a known thing. Anybody that is really good, that's what they're going to do. If they see you as being valuable, that's the first thing they're going to do.
Okay.
So you don't really have to train them. Now, if you want to train an army of people that are not affiliates to sell your stuff, then you got to work a little harder.
Okay.
Then you might create a video. You might create a video for a segment of your audience that is there to make money. Like with BeeKonnected, there's a segment of people that were drawn to BeeKonnected because they see it as being the next LinkedIn platform. And they see the FOMO as, oh my God, how much could I make off of being at the top of this pyramid, so to speak? So back to, you know, what's important to them, which kind of loops back to Gay's original question of how do I approach the associations? So what's important to them? Because everything I talked about so far was what's important to their members. This is why their members would buy from them. So that rolls right up to the hill to what's important to the association is to replace their non-dues revenues, because they make money on live events. Most associations make a lot of money on either dues being paid. They have dues revenue, which is their members paying dues. And then they have non-dues revenue, which is what they make off of referrals, and they make from their events and all that stuff. And they're not making any non-dues revenue right now. Like an example of non-dues revenue is they put on an event like a luncheon or something. The members come and they pay their dues, and that gets them the free lunch, but they bring guests and the guests pay a guest fee. That's non-dues revenue. That's gone. That's out the window right now. So that's taking their overall revenue and it's shrinking it. It's squeezing them, creating a problem in their mind and in their pocketbook. Again, when you have problem, what's the answer? Solution, right? So we have a way to generate non-dues revenue for you to put you back where you were before all this stuff came down in 2020. And then, you know, when you start getting into what it is, it also provides a massive value for their members. Why do their members go to them to begin with, right? For value. If it's a business group, they're going there to improve their business. So why not give them a one platform to give them connection, tools, and training to do just that and make a little bit of money off the top? So that's kind of the whole premise behind why an association would go for this. What would be attractive to them is replacing their non-dues revenue, increasing their revenue. You know, it's all about revenue, no matter how you slice it. An association is an association to make money first and foremost. Yeah, they put out they wanted help, but if there's no money involved, they usually disappear. So, you know, I know that doesn't sound good, but it's the truth. A business can't operate without revenue. There's a lot of people behind organizations, and those people need to get paid. You know, it's great doing things for others and having that, but if you can't pay your own bills, you know, you can't be very effective to help others if you can't help yourself. So business, you know, it drives revenue, and that's the name of the game. So you're giving them a vehicle to do what they need. It replaces what went away for them. So it's a good deal all the way around. So that's basically the thought process you want to go through when you're approaching one of these associations. One of the questions might be, an opening question was, hey, you know, how did the pandemic affect your organization in 2020? Are your non-dues revenues hurting? Are you down? How's that affecting you? What's that doing to the organization? Now you've got some key points to talk about that rolled right off their lips. There's nothing more important than what they say.
I'd be curious if anyone has any input or feedback back, just how effective LinkedIn has been for them, because I have rarely heard anybody say that. I mean, I just don't know anybody. I know people who've spent a lot of money, but I just don't know anybody that says, you know, that it's just God's gift to lead generation. I just,
Yeah. I know one guy. His name's Rob Burns. And he was the guy that ran PR Reach. And he has since sold it and he's on to other bigger and better things. But this guy, you know, he was just like me. He was, you know, for lack of a better word, lazy marketer, right? Made plenty of money, always did his thing. But we were always kind of on the same plane, got along really great. And, you know, he's a great guy. He's a really interesting character too. I think a lot of us of this feather are, and he lives in a tree house in San Diego. I mean, this is a multi-million-dollar tree house that he lives in. It's phenomenal. I mean, literally, I'm not kidding you. He lives in a tree. Tree is like attached to the side of a mountain. So you drive up the driveway and you basically go into his house, but the freaking house is in a tree.
wow.
And it's amazing. I was there at, you know, a New Year's party about 10 years ago, and there's probably 100 people in his house. And it was really windy and you could feel the thing moving. I'm like, I don't know about this. I think I'm out of here.
You sure they weren't buzzed?
Yeah, well, there was a lot going on, but I was still out of there. I'm like,
Oh,
I'll
God.
come back and visit you another day.
Check the weather first.
Yeah, but anyway, Rob is, you know, he's a character. But I remember I was trying to get a hold of him at some point. This was, I don't know, probably 8 or 9 years ago. I was trying to get a hold of him for something, and I couldn't get a hold of him. He was always busy, couldn't take my calls. And when I finally got to him, he's like, he sent me an email back. He's like, yeah, he goes, use my scheduler. He goes, you got it. I'm really booked up. So I schedule an appointment with him. I'm like, dude, what are you doing? And he goes, I have got appointment after appointment. I'm closing deal after deal after deal. And I'm like, what are you doing? You know, what created this shitstorm? And he said it was LinkedIn. And I'm like, and he put me in contact with the two guys that built a software that lead generated. It was Cory Sanchez and Ira Rosen. They basically made a spamming software for LinkedIn that allowed you to spam in LinkedIn. And that's what he was doing. You know, this software started sending out requests, you know, friend requests or, you know, connection requests. And then it was all automated follow-up. And, you know, you see this stuff all the time. It's just, it's turned LinkedIn into a garbage bucket.
You know, and they're still in business. And I connected. I remember when they first started. First started that, and this was several years ago. And it sounded like something I didn't want to be involved in, so I ignored it.
Yeah.
And then just recently, within the last month, I paid attention to a webinar that they were on, and it's the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
And it's still out there, and it's still happening, and they're making money.
Yeah, and LinkedIn is allowing this kind of stuff to go on, it's really just destroyed their whole system, their credibility, their backbone. I get probably 8 or 10 of those automated responses out of LinkedIn every day.
Yep.
And maybe people are trying to contact me that are real, but I'll never see them because I don't have time to go through 8 or 10 emails a day to try and sift out the garbage. So it's just on auto ignore for me.
That's where mine's at. I
So
think
LinkedIn has just, yeah,
a
it's just
couple.
become a spam pot. And here's something for all of the women. Remember, women, the key drivers and differentiation between men and women. Men is the significance and women is safety and security, right? Just by default. Doesn't mean it's for everyone, but just in general, the female population is driven, the underlying primary drivers is safety and security. And a lot of women say that they get hit on in LinkedIn. There's a bunch of trollers and perverts in there that are, that's their goal, is just to, they're using it as a dating, they're looking for dates, and that freaks out a lot of women. They're in there, they're trying to grow their business, and they get somebody that seems interested. Well, they weren't interested in business other than monkey business. And that's not a safe feeling in general for a woman. So the whole idea that BeeKonnected is a woman CEO that understands that and is never going to allow her system to become that. That appeals to women. So that's another angle, talking about what's important to people. That's another angle to hit them with. Because, you guys know every connection is ratable in BeeKonnected. Like when you make a connection with somebody, they have the ability to rate you with a 1 to 5 star. And if somebody starts connecting to you with 1 stars, you're gonna know, okay, yeah, this person is not worth my time. But you get buzzed by a 5 star, you should pay attention. That's a good person. That's a good connection. So the system is built to auto sift the garbage for you, where LinkedIn is not. So if you want an argument against LinkedIn, that's a pretty good one. That not only appeals to women, that appeals to me because of the auto garbage sift. So like me, for anybody that knows me really well, you'll know that my time is my most precious asset. That is the thing that's most valuable to me, even over money. Because I know I can always make more money, but I cannot make more time. So every second that I waste, I'm never getting back. And that to me that's the thing that I'll protect and I'll guard with everything I've got. So, because that just gives me another minute on the boat. Another minute doing something that I really enjoy, and sifting out scammers and spammers is not my idea of fun.
You know what, John, in general, that is something that we all need to be cognizant about. I talk with my clients, I plead with them all the time. For example, I speak on purpose a lot. And when you find your purpose, there's all of a sudden this energy and this renewal and this thing where I got to get this done. And then time becomes really, really important. What they don't realize is we don't know how much time we're going to have. So if you've got something you got to go do, you got to get on it, and you can't waste time. You just can't, because we don't know.
Yeah, that's why, remember I said I'll spend a lot of time trying to find somebody that will promote me. That's my time well spent, because that saves me 100 to 1. That is a good investment. I look at time as an investment, just like dollars. You invest dollars in hopes that they'll grow. I will invest time in hopes that I will get more of it. So, and for me, that's the most valuable investment of my time, is to find out how I can get more by doing less. Bill Gates said this many, many years ago when he was building his organization, when he was building Microsoft. This was one of his keys to success of fast implementation on software. He said, if I want to get a job done fast and most effectively, I will find the laziest guy in the building and I will assign that project to him, because he's going to figure out how to do it the fastest with the least amount of effort. And I'm like, wow, okay. a good thing I don't work for him, because he'd be throwing a lot of shit my way. But I love that that whole statement that he made of, if he wanted something done the fastest and most efficiently, that's who he would find in his organization. Find the laziest guy on the totem pole. So pretty cool concept if you think about it. And I learned a lot of that from my brother, because he was the tops in lazy. And he was a master at getting stuff done without his own efforts. And I learned a lot from him. I didn't know what I was learning at the time, but I certainly, looking back, I'm like, holy shit. I later on in life, I learned a little bit of NLP stuff from some, pretty smart people that know about this. I never knew what it was. I'd never had any inkling of it. No recollection, nothing. I had no knowledge of it at all. But after I learned it, looking back at my brother, I'm like, holy shit, he was a master of it. And he didn't know anything about it either, but he just did it naturally. But I could see all the stuff he was doing, and it was all exactly what I was learning how to do. And then looking back at how he actually used it in real life, it gave me probably an accelerated learning curve. Knowing the techniques and then looking back and seeing him do it in action over his entire lifetime was pretty cool. Kind of gave me an advantage in that.
Hey, John, have we had any, I got on a little late, Kartra conversations? Any questions about Kartra? Anybody talked about it?
Not on this call. I think we talked about it last week, but what's on your mind with that?
Well, I think I have a question.
Okay.
I'm adding products. I'm doing two things. I'm adding products in the product area, and then I'm using my calendar so that those products are linked so they can see the calendar and pick the product they want, or the coaching session, the type of coaching, or whatever.
Okay.
So all that's working, and it's linked to the payment, boom, boom, boom. And it's working. I'm getting notified, you have a new client, blah, blah, blah. But my question is, on our package, on the $99 a month package, it says you can have 20 products.
Okay.
So is that what they're talking about in the product area? There's 20 and that's it?
Correct.
So
Yeah.
is there any other way to, I hate to say beat the system, to have more than 20?
Well, every product can have multiple price levels.
Okay, so that brings me to the next question, which is I didn't understand that part of it, because when you have multiple price levels, you have to pick a default, right?
Uh-huh.
And it's the default. When somebody clicks on that product, all they see is the default price. So how do you know, like, if it has multiple payments, if you installments, and then, how does that work?
Okay. No, and you have to pick a default in case something's not defined. But you can absolutely give the exact price that you want. So that's not a problem.
So if they go in and they pick
Let me,
XYZ coaching, and the price shows, let's just say it's for 6 months and it's $500 a month, but yet there's other levels under that for different pricing levels. Where do they see that at?
okay, let me show you here. Like we'll take we'll take the site pop, for instance. This is a product. So if I go to the checkout, I can do a single price or I can do a multi-price. So if let's say I do a single price and I go next, see, I've got all my different price levels.
Right.
And every time I select a new one, this link changes. So it shows me this one's $47 for the first 90 days and then $47 monthly after that. This one's 97 for the first 30 days and then 47 after. This one's just a straight 47 monthly. This one's 197 and 47. So if I take that link and I pop that into a browser, that's going to just give me that option.
Okay, so that's great if you're doing it that way. But if they're going to your calendar and they see a product,
It's the same thing. When you select a product on your calendar to show, you can show it the price level. You can give it an exact price that you want to display. Let's say you wanted to have multiple things on your Kartra page. You could change the way that page looks, and you could have different buttons for each different price level. It takes them to that calendar.
oh,
That makes sense?
kind of.
Now watch this. Let's say I go to the multi-price. Now I can turn on and off each one of them. So right now they're all on. So if I take this link and I go to the checkout here, it's going to show me all those different options. See all the different options here?
Oh,
So when they select that, that now becomes what they're paying.
so they can select what they want.
Correct. See?
That's what I needed to, that's what I needed to know. Okay.
Yeah. So
Okay.
that's in the multi-pay. So
Okay.
so up here you just do the multi-price point, and then that gets your link. Now anywhere these links are here, these are straight links where you could send them out or whatever. You could put them on a page.
Or email or whatever.
Yeah, whatever you want to do with those links, those are direct links to that checkout page with that pricing option.
Okay.
So you can take these links and you can embed these into any Kartra page by selecting the product and then the pricing options.
Got it. So if I have a product and the only way they're getting to it right now is they hit Time with Randy, which is the calendar, they go there and they select the product. If I set it up on multiple checkouts, say somebody wants to pay all at once, someone wants to have a recurring payment, somebody wants to have the most expensive one there, you can do all that there.
Mhm. Yeah,
And that show up on the left side like he showed us.
yeah, and that's one product.
Right. Okay, now I got
You
it.
could have 20 different variations in here, and you could have just one product doing all of that.
Great. Okay.
So another thing too, when it comes to your affiliate program, let's skip over here to the affiliate page. Every price level, you could have different affiliate payouts.
Oh.
Remember I said I pay 50% to my affiliates and 25 to my JV brokers?
Mm-hmm.
This is where you set that up. This is the initial charge, and then this is the follow-up. That's where my affiliates get 25 and the broker gets 25. So this is the front end, this is the back end. And you can set up an unlimited amount of those. And notice down here, I have a price number 8. I give no affiliate commissions on price level 8. That is only something I do internally. And it's because I'm given, like, let's say I'm going to do this for a friend and I'm giving them friend pricing. I don't want affiliates to get 75% of my friend pricing.
Got it.
Those are for my friends. So no affiliates should be involved in that. That's a deal I'm giving all the savings basically to that person on price level 8.
Mm-hmm.
So there is no affiliate commissions on those offers. And then this is another thing that most people don't really get about the affiliate program is how to set up affiliate landing pages. You can have all these different pages for your affiliate links. Like this is for one product, and look at how many different pages I have to sell this product. This is a registration page for a webinar. This is a YouTube special page. This one's for a particular guy, this R. Madison, that's an affiliate. And with him, he's the only one that gets that offer. So you can assign different offers to different affiliates, and that's specifically to them. Then I've got evergreen. I've got, all kinds of different ways. But once you get a product for sale, the next thing, if you're going to sell more of those, and I know some of you guys were on the call where I did the how to double your business next year, and we went through that exercise. It's about offers. How many different offers do you have for everything that you sell? How many offers could I have here? There's no limit. Every time I add another offer, it's another way to present this to another group of people. And in the ACT program, that's called a big idea. You could have an unlimited number of big ideas. If you look at the company, the online company that made the biggest move the fastest, it's oh God, what is it? Agora Publishing. They sell $1 billion a year now of online newsletters. And they lived in the real world space up until just a few years ago. They did online newsletters, or they did real live printed newsletters sent out in 3 different categories. They did health, wealth, and preppers. And a prepper is somebody that's preparing for the end of the world. That was their 3 different avatars, or actually that was their 3 different segments, their niches. And then they had those segmented down, and they've got literally hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands, of big ideas on each one of those. How to bring people into that funnel and sell them the same thing. 3 things, 3 newsletters selling $1 billion a year of recurring revenue on 3 newsletters by using thousands of offers for the same thing, thousands of big ideas. These guys, they have a business model of they will hire every copywriter they can get their hands on. And the copywriter, they get paid well, and they also get a percentage of sales if their copy sells to a certain level. So it's a real heavy incentive to write good copy. And their job, they can keep their job as long as this criteria is in place. They have 7 days to come up with and implement a new big idea. The first time they go 7 days without creating a new big idea for the company or for one of the newsletters, Agora doesn't care which one. They just have to come up with a new big idea every 7 days. First time they don't, they get a warning. Second time they don't, they get another warning. Third time they're gone. And all of their bonus override commissions leaves with them. They don't get to keep it. They churn and burn copywriters like nobody's business. That's their model. That's how they got to $1 billion a year. It was an unlimited amount of big ideas. So the more money you want to make is directly tied to the number of big ideas for every one of your product offerings. I guarantee it. That's something I can give you a personal guarantee on. If you have no big ideas and you've got things to sell, you're probably not selling any. It's just that simple. So you want to come up with as many of these as you possibly can for every product. Like I've got an example on ACT. I've got the Elvis shift. That was a big idea to sell the ACT program. And it's very specific. It's the whole thing. The promise is there's this thing that this guy did that took his business. Elvis is a musician, right? That's his business. It took him from an unknown artist to the king of rock and roll almost overnight by doing one slight shift in his business approach. Would you like to know how to make that shift in your business and get the same result? That's a big idea. So that's just one way that I sell the ACT program, is using the Elvis shift. Now, how many of those could I come up with? All that is, it's just a metaphor. It's just a metaphor for something you can do that relates and people get. They can see the result from someone else, like Elvis. You know, I know as the older I get, the fewer people know who Elvis is. But you know, you just got to keep with what people know, your audience specifically. I know most of the people that are attracted to ACT, they're not the younger generation. They're in the, you know, the older generation, the ones where technology is taking over and it's sweeping the rug right out from under their feet. So they can really relate to Elvis. They know who it is. They know that most people know he was a struggling musician. If they don't, I just told them that, right? So they didn't have to know I told them. I told them, you know, here it took a struggling musician to the king of rock and roll. Everybody knows who the king of rock and roll is, right? And then when I call it the Elvis shift, I lock it in. That's who we're talking about. He did this one little simple thing. It was a shift in his business practice that did that for him. Remember the whole thing about a unique mechanism? It's the thing that does the work. The Elvis shift is the thing that did that for him. How would you like to know what that is? And you could be able to use it in your business. So that's like all the key components to a big idea. It's the promise of what you want. You want to be the king of whatever it is you do. And you are struggling now. You want to move from here to there in a very short time frame. That's the promise. The Elvis shift is the unique mechanism that's going to do it. And I just said this thing in a compelling way that you've never heard it before. That's what draws you in. Those are the three key components of a big idea. And when you master that technique, that's 90% of your marketing. It's that front end attention grabber. It's the elevator speech for your product.
So you, what you're, if I'm
Was that too much?
so if I understand what you are teaching us, you have just told us or told me that if I'm going to have a webinar, as an example, in that headline, in that information, email, whatever that goes out, I need to come up with a big idea that connects to that webinar subject, topic, matter, whatever, so that it grabs their attention and they go, yes, I need that. I want that.
You damn right, Skippy.
Got it. I just wanted to make sure that Elvis hadn't left the house.
Elvis is still in the building.
My head just, I connect dots. I'm kind of slow, but when I get it, I get it.
Yeah, no, that right there is the key
Okay.
to the kingdom.
Okay.
That right there is just the pure solid gold. If you took that out of this call, you got every ounce of value out of 2020.
Got it. I'm trying to adjust my hat because my head just got a little bigger. That helps. That helps a lot. That, we just need help from people like you that can help us connect the dots. Because
yeah, and the whole big idea scenario, where it came from was David Ogilvy, which if you've ever watched the TV series Mad Men, that's Don Draper portrays David Ogilvy. And back in the 50s, this was a guy in advertising that hit home run after home run after home run. Every campaign he touched turned to gold. He would take normal household items and turn them into something that was a household name or something you knew. He'd take normal items and turn them into a household name. That's what I was trying to say. But he was interviewed at one point, and this woman asked him, what is it about you? How is it that you can take any campaign and just turn it into gold? And that's what he told her. He said, it's because of the big idea. And, no one had ever heard that term before. And they're like, is that just an idea that's large? No, it's something that he described. He used big idea to describe his process. As far as I know, no one has ever unraveled what it really was. But I got the 3 key components of it from looking at every one that he did. And everyone had those 3 components that I just said. There's a promise, the promise of the desired outcome. There's a unique mechanism that always is there to deliver the results so you don't have to do it, right? Like in the diet world, nobody wants to work out and diet. They don't want to stop eating and work hard, right? They want the desired outcome. They want to lose the weight. They're always looking for the pill that does the work for them. So that's a unique mechanism. And then saying it in a way that they haven't heard it before is equally as important, because if you say something that someone has already heard, guess what? It's filtered. It's automatically nipped in the butt before you even deliver your message. You don't even get a chance. And that's the whole principle behind the big idea. It's the attention grabber. If your campaign gets no attention, it's not going to be very successful. And that's what he followed up his sentence with. He said, a campaign without a big idea will pass like a ship in the night. And those were the exact words that he said. The meaning, what does that mean? Pass like a ship in the night. What's the metaphor for a ship passing in the night? You don't see it. It's dark. It passes and you don't even know what happened. You don't want your ad campaign to pass like a ship in the night. You want it to be seen. Without a big idea, it's going to pass like a ship in the night. Does that make sense? You see the value of a big idea now attached to your ad campaign, attached to your products?
I do, but I do have another question now that you got me thinking about this. In the case of, people said yes. Let's say you put a survey out there and you ask a few simple questions. You get the information back and they say, yes, I would like to have more information or have a webinar on this topic, and this topic. Now, you have a captive audience who has said that those topics are important. Do you still need to include the big idea if you've already got this other information?
Absolutely. What they're giving you is they're giving you market research into what they want. A more important question is, why do they want it? If you're gathering that kind of information, that is gold to create big ideas around.
Yeah, and the topics that they said, obviously, we know why they want it.
If you already know, then you got it.
Yeah,
but that's where you want to dig. This is another thing that came out of that interview with David Ogilvy, was where do these big ideas come from? He said, they never come from me. They never come out of my head. They come out of the market. A big idea comes out of the market. And for us, it's the market segment specifically. When you segment your audience, you're actually able to dial down and create a real effective avatar. So a big idea is always going to be directed toward an avatar. And the avatar has a timeline. The timeline is going to tell you what the desired outcome is. That's going to dictate your promise, right? It's all a big formula. It's all a math equation. I've broken down every piece of it in the ACT program. That's what ACT is. It's the ad agency formula for how to create a successful marketing campaign. And it's got all these little pieces. All these pieces I observed, and then I went back and found where they came from, and basically figured out, okay, how do we unravel these and turn every one of them into a repeatable formula? So if you look at the ACT program, that's what everything is, like the big idea. It's those 3 key components. That's how you create it. Those are the components. If you say A plus B plus C equals big idea, I filled in the blank what the ABC is. So A is the promise, B is the unique mechanism, C is the intellectually interesting way that you're going to say it that they've never heard it before. That's the formula. And that's been working for a very long time. It was working before David Ogilvy used it. He didn't create it. He found it, patterned it, modeled it, and used it, and was finally able to explain it in the 1950s. Most of the stuff goes back as far as Benjamin Franklin. It goes back to the beginning of our country. It's like they used words to get people to do what they wanted. That's how this country was formed. They had to get a bunch of people to go against authority and have a big fight for our freedom. They did that with words. That was an ad campaign, and it was very successful. If you go back to the beginning, it was all communication. It was all a big ad campaign to get people to buy in to the idea that we deserve freedom. And that's our core as business owners. Freedom is what drives us. Look at where it came from. Learn from that and use it. That's ACT in a nutshell. You know, Benjamin Franklin, he is the one that I tracked back to using the claim proof benefit statements, which we call the belief builder. Every objection is based on a belief. If you know how to create the beliefs, you know how to eliminate the objections. That formula, I found Benjamin Franklin using it 275 years ago. I couldn't find anyone prior to him using it. I don't know if he stole it from somebody. I don't know if he created it, but he was a pretty sharp dude. So again, I have no idea. I couldn't find it before him, but he used it. The first place I ever found him using it was to sell his wood burning stove. And he admitted that his stove was the worst product on the market. But because of his advertising prowess, it outsold the competition like they weren't even there. It put him in the Marketers Hall of Fame. If you look up the Marketing Hall of Fame, Benjamin Franklin is in there. And if you look at one of his very first ad campaigns, you will see claim proof benefit right in the copy. Plain as day. One of the webinars I did, I actually showed it. I pulled up the Marketers Hall of Fame. I pulled up his ad campaign and I highlighted, here's the claim, here's the proof, here's the benefit. Boom, right there. Almost 300 years ago. This shit works really well, and it's worked for a very long time, and it hasn't changed at all. That tells me it's going to keep on working for a very long time. I'm probably never going to see the end of it. So that's a pretty cool roller coaster to be on, a never-ending roller coaster of success as long as you got the formulas and you understand them. And it's all about how many big ideas can you come up with as to whether you're going to stay where you are or you're going to turn into an agora and be a billion-dollar company. You'll never do that on your own effort. Remember I said how they did it? They'll take an unlimited amount of copywriters. And those copywriters that churned out those thousands of big ideas. It wasn't the guys in the company. They were like me. They figured out, how can we be as lazy as possible and make $1 billion? Well, that was the formula they came up with, and it works. It worked for them. And whenever there's a formula, you can reproduce it. It's like a recipe. You know, if you want to bake a cake, there's a recipe. And if you follow the recipe, you will get the identical same cake today, tomorrow, next month, next year. That's the beauty of a formula. So anyway, guys, I don't want to blow up your heads before you get out of 2020. But I hope this was valuable. I hope this was a good spend of your time for the last day of the year. And I wish you all the merriest of New Year's, happiest of New Year's, and success beyond your wildest imagination next year. Because you've got the tools. You've got the formulas. And you've got me to help you. I don't know what else you need. So, all right, guys. Well, Happy New Year. Thank you all for being here and being part of this this group. Love it. And let's do big things next year. All right, guys.
Happy New Year, everybody.